Okay, getting the first pick. Oh, get three, Pyro, get three with the
Wade Kid's putting on a clinic. 14 down. Oh!
Experience tranquility.
Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, friends and family beyond the binary, good evening, and welcome to the Overwatch Tranquility Transcendence tier premiere match. Well, this is the first one of the season, and I'm excited to be here. My name is Warren Jugglegod Hammond, and I'm joined on the bike by none other than Captain Jack. How you doing tonight, buddy?
I'm doing all right, Juggle. It seems that everybody loved me being here so much last night. They wanted me to come back again. It's almost like I start to live here now. It's going to be really interesting, to say the least, how the rest of the week plays out. But like you said, we're going to see God Hand, last season's champions, bringing it back again. Celestial Win, previously known as Celestial Source Code, when they initially enlisted into the tournament. We don't know a lot about the team thus far. You know, we literally just got their roster this week, so it's going to be all on them to kind of perform for us and really show us what they've got. God Hand has been a mainstay in the Tranquility community for a couple of seasons now. I mean, just looking at the list, Ice, Orsted, Mini, Cubed, and Andy all on the starting roster, ready to show their stuff and show that they haven't gotten rusty during the offseason.
Well, I am excited to see what both of these teams are going to bring. This, as you know, this is my first time in Overwatch Tranquility, so these teams are all new to me. I was there for the All-Star game at the end of last season, but that's, I mean, everybody is, who knows where, what team they came from. I can't remember any of that. So, I'm excited to, get to start to know some of these teams as well, and it'll be a chance for all of us to get to know Celestial Wind, formerly Celestial Source Code. I was curious about their name in general, Celestial Source Code. I really liked that, and I was wondering what the Celestial Source Code would look like. And maybe we have our answer. Maybe it looks like the wind. Who knows? So, but regardless, can't wait to see what they bring. Always love seeing new faces.
Yeah, tonight is going to be interesting because, as you all know, Transcendence tier is our top tier. It's the one right before you break into kind of that top 500 4K plus ranking area, which we don't do here at Tranquility. So these folks are at the precipice. They're ready to look to take that next step, to compete in places like Open Division or in the collegiate circuit. I mean, we've seen many teams come from the Tranquility community. Rocket on Drifters made their way up through Tranquility.
Very
the entire team of Pogfish. Oh, sorry, let me say it right. Pogfish, otherwise known as Bird Society Flying Fish now. They compete at that OD level and had their start here in Tranquility as well. So honestly, I'm always excited to see what these teams have and whether or not they have the mettle to be able to make that climb up to that playoff spot, show that they have the strength, have the skill, have the communicative ability to be able to take that next step in the upcoming seasons.
Yeah, but you know what? The first step is going to be right here in Tranquility, and it's going to be this game. And speaking of the very first step, we are going to be heading to Busan for that. So, going to go to Korea, maybe visit a mecha base, visit some downtown Busan. We'll see.
That's absolutely true. And Busan allows for a lot of various compositions. We saw last night during the Harmony tier match a variety of dive. We didn't see any double bubble, but it's very popular at this at this ranking. As you get into the higher ranks, double bubble's really big. The good old rock and roll. You got the Sigma ball composition. We saw a little bit of yesterday, and then nothing beats a good old rush with the Rhine Diva. So, nevertheless, it's going to depend on where we're going. Downtown, you see a lot more of the dive and the rush. Mecha base, definitely a lot of rush, unless you're looking to play a little bit of rock and roll. And then, of course, when you get to the Sanctuary, it's, again, that dive or rock and roll, anything that creates a lot of speed to allow you to get into that back line and take out the supports as quickly as possible so that you can collapse on the enemy team. Needless to say, though, we do have some other stuff to put out for this evening as well. We want to make sure that we note the fundraiser that we are continuing to do. The exclamation donate in the chat. We are raising funds for RAIN, the Rape, Abuse, and Incest National Network. We are doing this in our connection to support the Activision Blizzard employees that are going through all their stuff right now. We stand with them, and this is our way of showing our support. So please, anything you can, exclamation donate in the chat. We'll give you a link to be able to donate to that amazing cause and continue to show our support to this wonderful community.
Yeah, and thank you so much to everybody who has already donated to that. It's a wonderful organization. Means a lot to me to see how many people, supporting it as well from our community. So thank you so much for that. And we are heading in now to Busan. So time to see what Celestial Wind has for us, what they've got on the docket. And we're going to be heading to Sanctuary first. So this is going to be interesting because a lot of different looks that you can play here.
That is true, and it looks like based on what we're getting ready to see come out as they're assembling their heroes, we see a little bit of toying around with that dive, with that possible rush getting ready to come out of the gate. I do love what we're seeing from the side of Celestial Wind. That rock and roll is always so much fun to see. You know, you got the Sigma that's kind of very stationary, usually the one that's holding on to the objective, and the Wrecking Ball is just going to be here, there, and everywhere to be doing that extra damage. And we're going to see the battle of the supports here as well. We're essentially seeing a mirror matchup. The Soldier and Tracer on that DBS line, and then the Zenyatta and the Brig. Brig pretty much playing defense to make sure Zen doesn't get taken out, and then Zenyatta to pop off those discords. Not giving a lot of healing, but we'll be doing a heck of a ton of damage.
Yeah, speaking of a heck of a ton of damage, Clones takes quite a bit on the side of Celestial Wind in that first engagement. And also, just a quick bookkeeping note, if you see the person between Clones and Arin on the in your kill feed there, that is Kame. We're going to be calling them Kame. Already, though, a couple of picks coming out in favor of Celestial Wind, so they are sending the former champions of the Transcendence tier back to pack to spawn as they cap the point first.
Yeah, but as we know, Control is always kind of the warm-up round, so to speak. And, you know, Mammoth Man joining the team this season is going to be an interesting change. Like we said, most of these folks have a long history together, almost 2 years or more playing together just in the Tranquility community alone. And so, you know, getting that new addition and really getting that rhyme and rhythm to match, even with just one player swapped, is going to be a little difficult. So I wouldn't count him out just yet.
No, that is a very good point. Although anti-GDH already down from the side of Godhand. Mammoth comes in to equalize, though, so no more Wrecking Balls on the map. But Average TV really showing his worth right now, taking out the rest of GDH.
That's true. Maybe we're seeing a little bit of an above average, if you know what I mean, coming out there from that Sigma player. But nevertheless, they're already above 50%, and I think the coordination is struggling a little bit right now. for the side of God Hand. It's going to be up to them to try to turn the sucker around and see if they can make something work.
Yeah, they have a couple of ultimates online to do it, but so does Celestial Wind. So it's going to be up to who uses them better. Gravitic Flux comes out, Minefield layered in right below it, but it's the Tac Visor from Kame that's really doing the bulk of the work right now, and Celestial Wind already in last fight territory.
That's absolutely true. It looks like I've had a little bit of issue with my parsec. I got disconnected, so that Tac Visor, obviously great on a place like Sanctuary. A lot of open space and able to get a lot of picks right there. So as we head into Final Fight territory, it's going to be up to GDH to draw the line and get control of that point.
Yes, it will. And we've got both support ults coming out from each team. We've got a Transcendence for Godhand and a Rally out from Firecarder, but that Rally has gone off at this point. The Tac Visor getting a little bit of value from mini GDH. They're able to take Arin out of the fight. Both DPS now actually gone for Celestial Wind, and Godhand looks poised to finally take this point for the first time on this map. That is, if they can finish off the rest of the members here. Firecarder doing tremendous work on that brig, keeping average TV up, but they are eventually going to fall, but not before average TV takes out Mammoth Man. Here comes Clones with the Minefield to try and finish things off for Celestial Wind, but they just haven't quite been able to do it, and there's the finish for them. They're able to get people off the point finally and cap that point. Now, quick question for you. Do you have the Parsec feed back, Captain Jack?
No, I do not. I was waiting for you to accept it right there. But nevertheless, they're up to that 99% now. So that is going to make it a lot easier for Celestial Wind to be able to take that back. At the end of the day, it's going to be about setting that structure, setting that defensive line. Because if they give it up even once, there's no guarantee they're going to be able to get the Sanctuary back.
Yeah, that is true, and the point did eventually go over to Celestial Wind, so they were able to take it 100 as year, just barely taking the members of Godhand off the point. And we are moving on to Mecha Base now, so expected to see a lot of rush here, but only from half of the side, it appears. Looks like Celestial Wind, they don't want to change with what was working before, so they're going to stick with the rock and roll.
Well, that's definitely a great composition to work with, as we've already been seeing. You know, you get the Wrecking Ball paired with the Tracer. We've seen this very similarly in kind of the double dive composition that we were seeing during Overwatch League this season, during the, I believe it was the June Joust, when they had the roll, or the hero locks, or the hero bands rather, and you were seeing that DPS and tank dive going together.
Yeah, you are. And already the DPS Kame coming up big once again for Celestial Wind. Able to take out Ice from the fight. And now we've got Andy charging to point, but they don't have much of a shield left. But it doesn't matter, as they're able to actually, they charge Arin off the map. So no main tank and no Tracer for Celestial Wind. But Celestial Wind doing an excellent job of continuing this fight, keeping a hold of this point. They are firmly in control right now, although now Mini GDH coming in with this Doomfist, able to get a pick. 2 picks actually, as Firecarder goes down as well. So this point, hotly contested, hasn't turned over to anybody yet.
Yeah, and that's a really good matchup right there. The Doomfist is going to be able to especially keep that Sigma out of play as much as possible, just because of the way, the fluidity of the movement, especially if you've got a really good DPS player on that Doomfist. It's almost like a symphony, seeing that player dance through the air.
Yeah, it really is. You know, I love mobility. I love playing things like Doomfist, Wrecking Ball, Tracer. Anything that gets me moving around a map fast makes me happy, and I love to see good play by those mobile characters as well. Looking into this next fight, though, we've got a Flux and a Minefield coming in for Celestial Wind. That could be comboed very well. Oh, but the Minefield's used a little bit early to try and split members of Godhand apart, but they stay grouped up fairly well. Andy now, or Arin, trying to get a little bit of work done in the backline as well. Immortality field used from Ice already, so this could be a moment for Celestial Wind to push in, and that's what they are doing. They already have a couple of picks on the board. Mammoth gets an counter pick, but it's not going to be enough.
Yeah, pulling the immortality field out really early is exactly what they need to do. I mean, when you've got any big play or big ultimate on the field, if you can take that immortality out early and often, and it allows you to create that extra space without the possibility of being shut out by that dinky little disc that protects everybody.
Yeah, exactly. Um, Now, both teams have a bit of ultimates online. Aaron, though, uses the Pulse Bomb already, doesn't get any value. But Orsted actually able to take Aaron out of the fight now. So this is an open opportunity for Godhand to come in. Here comes the self-destruct. Isn't able to catch anybody, neither will the Remech. But it's Gorbacheese actually coming in big with the Orbs of Destruction on Andy. Sound barrier committed as well from Cube. But the Gravitic Flux comes in and is actually able to catch out Ice from the fight. And so now without those big heals, without any heals, Godhand is really on the ropes. And Celestial Wind with another dominating victory here on Busan.
Wow, that is definitely kind of putting your name in the sand right there to kind of show that you're here and you're ready to play. And it looks like, you know, Godhand might be a little bit rusty. Definitely nothing to worry about by any means necessary. You know, I always tend to feel that Control is just kind of the warm-up match. Kind of gives us an idea of what both teams are bringing to the table. I mean, heck, for all we know, maybe Godhand is looking to pull a dirt this season, and you know they'll just kind of ride the bottom rails all the way into the playoffs, and then really show us, pick it up at the end of the season, really show us what they're made of. But nevertheless, no, yeah, we. Oh no. Well,
Sorry.
it looks we're having a whole bunch of NA prod tonight. I was just listening to Juggle God the entire time, almost the entire time during that match, just to try to analyze what I could hear. So, needless to say, it's gonna be a fun night here in Tranquility.
Oh, yeah.
But nevertheless, I
Hope you
know that God
appreciated the radio show.
yeah. Tranquility Radio always here. OWTC 2.9 coming at you from Toronto. Uh, Nevertheless, it's we know the skill that GDH brings to the table, especially as last season's champions. There's I don't believe that there is anyone that could truly take them down unless the issue that they're facing right now is just kind of the flexibility that's in the meta right now. I don't believe that that's the case. Maybe they're just kind of shaking off a little rust, but whatever the next map holds, I believe, might start to unlock a little bit of that skill that we expect.
Yeah, I think you were absolutely right. And we are going to actually take a very short break here just to see if we can work out one little production issue. So stick with us. We will be right back. Welcome back, everybody. We have figured everything out, I believe. Parsec is working, the sound is working. We got the right scene up this time. So we are headed into Hanamura, and it is a beautiful map. I especially hope that you all can see it this time. The cherry blossoms are looking quite lovely right now in Japan. So excited to see, yeah, if Celestial Wind can keep up this tremendous pace that they've set already. I mean, that was 200 to zeros against the former champions.
Yeah, and that definitely is telling, to say the least, with the kind of ferocity that they had to be able to pull that off. But nevertheless, we do have the ability to kind of see things be turned around. Hanamura and every other map after this run a lot different, but somewhat similar to Control. There's a lot of different compositions that are well adjusted. And actually, looking at the defense right now, I'm actually kind of surprised that we're seeing the Metal Dive, the Wrecking Ball Diva on defense of all things, paired with the Farah Mercy and that Soldier 76. This is going to be really telling for what's looking like a double shield coming out of the gates, and no Symmetric Teleporter, no Lucio to try to be able to speed onto the objective.
Yeah, very good points there. Clone's already in the back line. He rolls through right at the choke, trying to get a little bit of charge for that ultimate. And already Andy GDH setting up inside the choke. But Kame coming in with a big pick onto Orsted, so they are down a DPS now. But Mini GDH finds a headshot onto Gorbacheese. So without that big heals, this could be really, really troublesome for Celestial Wind, as they're just getting blown away at this point. But the res does come out onto Gorbacheese from Fire Carter.
Yeah, the issue they're going to have right now is being able to keep their DPS up in this fight. Again, right now it's all about mobility. They have some of the slowest heroes in the game with nothing that can really speed them through, and that pick onto Cube is not going to help them.
No, it certainly isn't. And now the barrage comes in as well. But Mini GDH able to find clones with these storm arrows. Nothing comes from the barrage though, but the picks do come afterwards. So it looks like enough damage was done to get things really going for Celestial Wind.
Yeah, I hate to say it, but there really needs to be a change in composition. It looks like we do see Cube swapping over to the Lucio at very least to provide a little bit more speed. It looks like Orsted opting for that Tracer now, and Mammoth going to swap over to the Diva. Oh, they're actually swapping the entire composition altogether. Ice giving up the amplification matrix they had to be able to push in as the Ana for this fight, but still, we have a Farah Mercy on the field, and other than the Hanzo, which isn't incredibly reliable at taking out a Farah Mercy, it's going to be very difficult for them to create this space as they move in on the left lane.
Yeah, I'm certainly going to be looking to Mammoth to try and take that Farah out of the sky, or at least neutralize the damage that they can do. Gorbacheese getting hounded by members of God Hand right now. They're forced to go up to the upper level here. They commit the Nano as well onto the Farah to try and get a little bit more damage in there. Picks coming in from both sides now. Both Wrecking Balls out of the fight. The res does come in though onto Clones. So they are up one hamster now as God Hand really just trying to reset.
Yeah, I'm not for certain what God Hand is trying to do, to be completely honest with you. I feel like the Lucio would have been the move. The Minefield gonna go ahead and start zoning, but Andy's gonna clear it out for the most part.
Yeah, that they are. And now with that point cleared up, members of Celestial Wind going to be able to kind of retake it, but they're going to give a tick over to God Hand, possibly even two, while they get reset. Here comes the tack visor from Kame. He's been the hero before for Celestial Wind, but somebody has to touch the point. Here comes Clones. They're finally in, and the barrage gets value. Two members down now for God Hand. They're going to have to reset and try again, I think, as Clones, though, decides to roll right off the map. Anti comes in, catches Fire Carter, and Sleep as well onto the Farah, but they're woken up and able to get back into the fight. And once again, Celestial Wind holds on.
And thankfully, Clones being the only one to die in that fight and dying late as well is going to be able to get back in enough time. With 30 seconds remaining on the clock, though, Ice does have the Nano online. Not for certain who they're going to put it on to utilize. Maybe Mammoth Man to try to close the distance onto Farah and Mercy and try to take them out quickly. But other than that, it's really going to be a lot more for the sustain as we see Game getting a Nano.
Yeah, that's going to make things so hard for Godhand to try to push in. They've only got a couple seconds to touch. Mammoth finally decides to, along with Andy. The Nano committed to that Wrecking Ball, and now Godhand has a wealth of ultimates online. Here comes the self-destruct. Ice GDH goes down, though, to Aaron, and Kame coming in big again. The DPS duo from Celestial Wind just can't be contained. And with overtime ticking down, that's going to do it. Celestial Wind gets a first point hold.
Yeah, that was rough, to say the least. I'm not 100% certain as to what we were seeing right there, but nevertheless, it's proving to be one heck of a fight for GDH right now. Either they're not practiced on a whole lot of different compositions, or what they were expecting from the other side just didn't turn out to be what they've practiced on this map. I'm not 100% certain. Everything just seemed really scattered. Everyone was going every which way to try to close the distance, whereas Celestial Wind looked like a very well-oiled machine. Everyone's positioned perfectly, exactly where they need to be. And if any mistakes are made, the team is in a position to be able to kind of adjust with that, as we see Aaron playing around with my favorite Omnic boy right there. Honestly, I would be incredibly entertained to see that happen. But it looks like GDH is opting for this Wrecking Ball Diva. It looks like we see a couple of swaps there onto the Orisa and now the Batiste. Unfortunately, they don't have the speed to get into this fight quickly, though, so I'm hoping that they can close that distance before Firecarter gets everybody in this fight.
Yeah, that's a very good point, because Clones is going to be able to push very, very hard against that Orisa, especially with the Bastion behind them. And Aaron sticking to the Bastion. Oh, here comes the TP.
Oh,
fantastic move from them. They are on the roof now, getting ready to drop onto the back point of this point. And now with Aaron there, raining in so much damage, just keeping everybody away. Nobody wants to peek. Andy GDH just hiding behind this bell right now for all their worth, but they're not going to be able to do it anymore as Clones has started to charge in. Andy GDH pops the Fortify, able to keep Clones from pinning them against the wall, but already the percentage is starting to get captured. Nobody has been picked yet by this Bastion, but they're doing so much damage up there. Shield down, and now that's the start of it. But Orsted comes up huge with a double post bomb, taking that Bastion Omnic out of the fight. And there's no res that can come in. They're using the window now to try and get a little bit more value out of this push, but a window has been placed as well by Ice. So this is just kind of a stalemate at this point in these upper levels, and Celestial Wind have to do something big, and maybe that's what they needed. The shatter right there. Mammoth pops the self-destruct, but it might be too little too late as 3 members are already down. Supercharger comes out from Andy, but they're removed from the fight, and somebody's gonna have to get back quickly. They've only got Cube DGH for Godhand trying to get to point, but they're removed from the fight as well. I don't know if anybody can touch.
Yeah, I don't think they were even going to be willing to sacrifice themselves there. This match is dead, done, and dusted at this point. The Bastion was able to get back and set up on the objective, and with only the Diva in play, it was going to be really hard for them to retake that objective. Incredible plays, incredible coordination from the side of Celestial Wind right there. They're really showing that they've got the metal to fly around in this Transcendence tier.
Hello, everybody. Welcome back. We are about to head back into this fantastic matchup between Celestial Wind and God Hand. Celestial Wind up right now 2-0 after some very dominating performances on both Hanamura and Busan. But next, Captain Jack, we will be headed to Numbani.
Yeah, I heard what you were getting ready to say, and it was like, oh, geez, God Hand. Like, right now, God Hand is struggling. The struggle bus is real for God Hand right now. They're trying to find their footing, but Celestial Wind just literally blowing in and just sweeping them off their feet on both of these maps. 100-0 we saw on Busan. They end up heading to Hanamura and get stomped out with just, I think they only captured 88% in the 4 minutes that they have. And, within the first minute and a half, boom, it was gone. This is their chance, though. This is their ability to turn this around. That dive composition is still pretty standard on this map. If they want to run that metal dive, if they want to run traditional dive or double bubble, Numbani is kind of the dive version of King's Row. So I wouldn't say that I wouldn't expect that. But based on how things have been working out so far for God Hand on that dive, maybe something a little bit more tanky, a little bit more brawly. Maybe pull out the McCree with the Reaper. Getting those Hellfire shotguns in there, doling a lot of damage. Maybe a Junkrat even to be able to kind of zone out with that tire, get that payload push. All would be good plans for this. Looking at the defense right now, though, it looks like Clones is opting on to the Orisa, and we've seen this at the this Orisa Diva composition at the higher levels of play, and I can't say that I still understand it just yet. It runs very similar to what I like to call the Suck Squad, the Sigma Diva, but there's just no mobility with it. But the Battle Cattle reigns supreme always. We always love the Battle Cattle, and it's going to be up to Andy and Mammoth to see if they can create that space as they come in on the Wrecking Ball Depot once again.
Yeah, and already Andy going towards trying to get into the back line of Celestial Wind. Torp turret set up already by Kame. Aaron as well, kind of in the back there. This looks primed for a Wrecking Ball to roll through. And yeah, Andy GDH is spotting it out. He's thinking about it. He wants to go. He's going to wait until the moment is right. The rest of his team is pushing, and here he comes in for a big slam. Clothes goes down immediately, though, from Ice. So, God Hand looking very strong right here. We hadn't seen another look yet from Celestial Wind, but this one right now just not working out for them, it doesn't appear.
That's absolutely true. And looking now at what they're coming in with, this Far Mercy is just absolutely dominating right now. Mini has control of the skies, and Average not being able to do a whole lot to combat it except for just getting on the objective. But these trades coming in will be able to help out a little bit.
Yeah, it looks like a couple of last-minute picks do come in for God Hand. They weren't able to get a tick onto the board yet, but they're certainly primed to do it now as Andy drops down to point with the rest of God Hand. Kame caught out in the back. Unlucky because he was about 80% to that ultimate, and that could have been really, really useful to try and stall at this point. 2 ticks already on the board for God Hand, though they're getting primed and ready to take this third. Can anybody from Celestial Wind touch? Oh, yes, Clones is there. He gets clipped on a corner, but just barely makes it in time to try and hold this thing off. The Nano committed to Andy. They drop the minefield. Here comes all of the ultimates actually from God Hand getting layered in, and that's gonna get them to capture the point. If nothing else will, that will.
I mean, okay. I can't. That had to be the weirdest series of ultimates that I've probably ever seen. It just seemed that is somebody that's blue on the objective. Let's throw an ultimate out. Oh, they're still here. Let's throw another one and another one and another one. Yeah. And just seeing what sticks at that point, because even where the self-destruct was placed, it was just so odd, whether it was just being used to kind of zone out that entry point or what. not exactly for certain, but nevertheless, 4 minutes on the clock to take to the streets. They got plenty of time, plenty of space, and Mini, for the most part, is still going heavily uncontested, despite the Torbjorn and Ash now on the field.
Oh, and speaking of the Torb, here comes the Molten Core now on the point. Mammoth staying on the cart to try and let it continue to progress, or at least not move backwards at the moment, as they have to kind of dodge those mines that Clones dropped. Turret is down now. Mini GH able to take that out, so one less a gun on the field now for Celestial Wind. We see Gorbachev, though, is removed from the fight, and that's not good because they had their Transcendence up and ready to go. Pix, though, committed to both sides. Ice gets that nano boost onto one of their teammates, but Mammoth is actually demeched. The res comes in onto Ice now, and Godhand looking to be in control once again.
Yeah, I gotta say, it's very similar to what we have been constantly saying in the Open Division Contenders Trials level of play. If that Ashe does not have a pocket, she is not useful. It is just the way that it is in the way that the heroes are currently set. She needs that Mercy pocket, or at very least, Gorbachev needs to be discording Mini on that Pharah to allow Aaron that additional damage to be able to pick them out of the sky effectively. They were able to grab Objective Bravo pretty quickly, and right now they're looking to steamroll in with a pretty good time.
Yeah, that they are. They've already got it up to this first corner, but they're now just starting to meet the resistance from Celestial Wind. Average TV kind of leading the charge right here because Clones is out of the fight now. So Average TV has their work cut out for them now on that Diva. But Kame helps to equalize things, but the res does come in, neutralizing what they were able to do. And they're actually removed from the fight. Here comes the attack visor from Orsted, but he's removed by Average TV. So without that ult, it's going to make this push a lot slower. But they're so close to the finish line as it is. Gorbachev takes out Mini GDH with some nice headshots, though, keeping that barrage at bay. Minefield layered out on point from both teams, so it's anybody's guess whose mine is whose right now. As they start to get cleared out just a little bit, but with 4.5 meters to go, Celestial Wind gonna hold.
I gotta be honest, Mini, what was that barrage? Average TV was already flying into your face, and as every Pharah knows, all you're gonna do is kill yourself when the Diva flies into your face. That's the only way that it works right there. And that isn't what ended up happening. Gorbachev ended up taking advantage of just having the space work around. But now they're in control of the objective. They have the spawn hold, and this rally is going to give them a little bit more armor to be able to sustain as the push comes back in, or a first pick coming in, but the res gets utilized.
Yeah, and I've got to be honest, I think Firecarter might have used that rally a little bit early there, as none of the God Hands were really pushing in at that moment, so I imagine they might regret that choice. But there's still plenty of ults online, including Bob from Arn, which gets committed a little bit behind the point. The sleep comes out, but somebody woke him up. And now Trance getting committed from Gorbachev as well to allow the rest of the team to push up. Kame pops the tack visor as well, but it's Orsteds who is finding the value right now. Ooh, Nano committed onto Andy. That's going to make this push a lot stronger for Godhand, but Gorbachev finds Orsted once again. Mines committed right at the spawn for Celestial, but Average TV is there with Kame to take Andy out of the fight.
Wow, that was incredible positioning there by Celestial Wind. Andy came rolling in with that minefield and had it placed so perfectly. But even something such as Firecarter using their shield bash just to barely get out of the way before the mines activated, and just knowing the quickest egress of that minefield was it was picture perfect. With 50 seconds remaining on the clock, though, I'd say that GDH is still in a really good setting for their defense, but ideally they do want to get that third pick.
Yeah, that they do. They're going to try really hard, but they don't really have the tools to do it on this push. The closest ult that they have is Mammoths, and it's only at 75%. So with 30 seconds left on the clock, Celestial Wind looking pretty good at the moment. They have the Diva Bomb that they can use to clear the point if they need to. And here it comes, right off the heels of the slam from Clones, and it finds Mini GDH right there, out in the open. And now 2 picks for Celestial Wind, but a counter pick does come in. Clones is out of the fight, so no main tank for Celestial Wind. Here's the rally, this time from Carter, coming at a little bit better of a time, I believe, right here. Oh, and Mammoth tries to remech, but they're unable to, and that's gonna be as far as God Hand gets.
As far as they get, but it is a beautiful place for them to be. It's just shy of Objective 3, and as long as they're able to hold them either in the streets or on Objective Alpha, there's no worry in the world. But as of right now, Celestial Wind has been proving to be rather aggressive, has been looking to be rather well-oiled when going up against God Hand. So it's now going to be up to God Hand to really make sure that all that rust has been shaken off. They're ready and raring to go into this defense in a way that's going to allow them, at very least, to run a lot of time off the clock, so that if it does get to Objective Charlie, they're going to be able to at least have less fights to deal with than what they had on their attack. Looking at the attackers right now, they're actually toying around with the double shield, although I don't believe that's anywhere close to what they're coming out with. I think we're going to see that Wrecking Ball Diva once again, as we see on the defense. Mini continuing to opt into the Pharah. I don't think that's a bad pick whatsoever. It was working out incredibly well for them. But the DPS line of Celestial coming out with that Cowboy and that Sniper, Widowmaker's sights, doesn't need that extra power boost. It's a little bit harder, though, to be able to land shot after shot, just in case it's not full power when you hit the Pharah the first time. Well, no, it looks like they're swapping over to that Ashe, but now Firecarder is going to be able to provide that pocket, and that is going to be incredibly detrimental to Mini if they do not stay out of their line of sight.
Yeah, that is a very good point. Fire Carter gonna be the fire starter for Arin right there. Getting a little bit more punch into that Viper rifle that Ashe carries. Right now, Celestial Wind just kind of positioning themselves, trying to get in a good position to push out here. Now they're able to, but Average TV already has to use that kinetic grasp to try and get that space. So they're going to have to stage here for a while, I think, and they're going to have to really make sure they cycle these shields well. Andy rolls in, but there's a huge anti-nade that comes in, catches 3 members of Celestial Wind, and they back up fast, but not quite fast enough, as it looks like Ashe is removed from the fight. Both the DPS down now. There is an exit pick onto Mammoth Man, but it's not going to be much, and that's going to be a reset. Ooh, although Average TV decides they want to keep going with this. Gorbachi's in here as well. They're continuing to push. They've popped the Amplification Matrix. Rez comes in onto Mammoth Man, and another anti-hits. Clones. Ice has just been hitting these left and right. And now the fight's gonna really start up again, as the Nano is once again committed to Mammoth. But they're going down very, very quickly. A lot of damage coming in from Celestial Wind right now. That's gonna demech Mammoth, as a matter of fact. Andy GDH tries to roll into the rest of Celestial Wind, but they push them back. But there are picks onto both sides, and a few more for Celestial Wind.
I've got to say, that was a lot of ult investment for not a single gosh ability to even get that tick on the objective. They never even fell from the high ground. They weren't able to push out of there, because just looking at Ice right now, just absolutely deadly on that Ana. Those anti-nades are proving to be the poison that is keeping Celestial Wind away, and they have just got this locked down as Attack Visor gets released.
Yeah, Attack Visor gets released, but everybody seems to be hiding pretty well from Celestial Wind. Clones comes in at the end of it to try and put a little pressure on them. Here comes the Diva Bomb, but it's not going to find anything. And the Deadeye from Kame comes in huge. And now this is looking really good for Celestial Wind, but Andy GDH has other thoughts as they're able to take Firecarder out with a mine. There goes Gorbacheese as well. There's no supports left for Celestial Wind, but they're still capping the point. They're just about to get it. There's one member from Godhand on point. Mammoth Man trying to do whatever they can to keep this point alive, to take off as much time as they can. And look at this. They've stalled long enough for Godhand to come back into the fight and retake this. And with just fractions, just 3% left to go, Celestial Wind has to try again.
Can I just say how absolutely gorgeous Cubed is? Flying in, pocketing Mammoth Man in the D-Mech Pilot Diva, keeping them alive on the objective despite dealing with the Ash Dynamite, dealing with the Sigma in their face, and ended up sacrificing themselves so that they could continue to hold on to the objective. We're heading into final fight territory. We do see kind of possibly a minefield gravitic flux combo coming out, but that tack visor, as long as that Sigma is in the air, that gravitic flux could get shut down rather quickly.
Yeah, that it could. Here comes the attack visor, but already there's a pick on a cube. Orsted really needs to equalize fast, and that they're able to do. Pick comes out onto Aaron, and more picks as well. Godhand looks like they're going to hold first point, and they do. They're going to make this a season, or a match with their backs against the wall. They come out with the win.
Juggle, it hurts. I don't have my whiteboard with me. It's the only part of my office I haven't moved yet. That's a lie, but for this, just imagine that it is for this, because it's just another day in tranquility. 0 days since the last C9 in Overwatch tranquility, folks. You hate to see it, but I mean, they had everything they needed to touch the objective, right? Their minefield, Celestial's minefield, was on the point. It was zoning the objective, but we ended up seeing clones get taken out early. They were the ones that were supposed to be on point, and the rest of the team was like, so who's going to touch? I mean, you got your Sigma in the air, so obviously they're not going to touch. And the rest of the team is just not wanting to get taken out by the soldier that got lifted way higher and has a greater vantage point to be able to hold on. So GDH got that spark underneath their bums, and Celestial Wind might be getting cut off if they are not careful going into our next match.
Yeah, this is going to be interesting. The reverse sweep is on the table now. It is possible for GDH. They they're not looking up quite the same hill that they were just a few minutes ago. This is a much better position for them to be in, and I'm sure they are happy about it. But it is going to be Celestial Wind's map pick. So they have the impetus to pick something that's really going to help them seal this deal and come out with a win.
That's absolutely true. Looking at the escort maps that are available, we have Havana, Dorado, and Watchpoint Gibraltar. Now, if I were a betting man, and I am not, but if I were, I would imagine that Celestial Wind would be going to Gibraltar. That would be the most ideal objective to go for. Just because you have the bunker in the middle of the fight during what we would normally think of as the streets phase of a hybrid map. You've got that bunker, which is going to really shut down the Pharah of Mini. As long as you're able to hold control of that spaceship, you're not going to be seeing any Pharahs flying in that bunker. You know, the ceiling's too low. Yeah. It's just so hard to get any good vantage points in there. So if I were them, and it looks like they are listening 30 minutes into the future, they have chosen Watchpoint Gibraltar. So they're looking to keep Mini off of the table with that Pharah. But as we know, Mini doesn't only play Pharah. That's not the only hero that they're good at. I wouldn't be surprised if in this matchup we don't see maybe a Sombra come to play. Mini Sombra, pretty deadly, and especially when you're running if they end up running that Wrecking Ball Diva comp once again, I mean, hacks on hacks on hacks. That's just going to Celestial Wind completely at bay. Shut off all the fans and just dead winded at this point.
Yeah, that is a good point. And I think another thing about Watchpoint Gibraltar is it's very good for the dive. So it's entirely possible we're going to see the Wrecking Ball come out again from clones. And I've got to be honest, so far as what we've seen from Celestial Wind, that's the look that I like from them the most. That that rock and roll.
Yeah, it has been working out well for them, but now that GDH has kind of got that fire under them, I'm not so sure anymore. Maybe it's time for Celestial Wind to change things up, keep things a little bit fresh, and maybe see if they can get GDH on the back foot once again. Because, like we said, it's beep beep reverse sweep time. They're one match away from taking the victory, but they're also one match away from getting this series tied up.
Yeah, that's that's very true. This is a pivotal map for GDH for sure, and they've really got to they've got to come out strong here. And I interested by what I see Mammoths hovering over right now in spawn. Not exactly the kind of pick I would expect, but something a little bit more typical coming in from Celestial Wind, and I think this makes sense here. This double bubble.
It's absolutely true. Yeah, this double bubble is absolutely perfect for this defense. I mean, Clones is able to maneuver around an average TV as long as they stay on that high ground. Is going to be able to pretty much bubble Clones from about everywhere, and that's exactly what you want from your Zarya. But GDH. Are you giving me some pulled pork right now? Because I didn't get to eat dinner. I'm a little hungry.
Right?
I think they're a little hungry too. Oh no, I was really hoping that they wanted to see if they could get that full hook real quick, but no such luck as they swap on over to the traditional dive, and Mini gets the first pick.
Yeah, having Clones out of the fight is a big deal because, Gorbachev wants to build up this nano. Average TV wants to get this charge on their beam, and without Clones, it's going to be a whole lot harder. As now we see they're kind of backed into this corner. Celestial Wind looking like they're in a tough place right now, but here comes Clones. They're able to clear the high ground. Firecart are able to help push them off as well, but the cart has already been pushed almost to this last corner of first point, and look at Mammoth coming in with the micro missiles, getting some macro value with them, and that's gonna be Godhand clearing out Celestial Wind and taking this first point.
So I see this a lot with newer teams. Mammoth calls out pentakill in the chat right there. Newer teams that kind of get on a roll, but they get that first map taken off of them. They end up getting caught on the back foot, and we're into the fight again. GDH isn't letting up.
No, they're not. The Nano's committed onto Andy as well. They already got 2 picks from the Pulse Bomb, but they're not satisfied. They want more. And the rest of Celestial Wind is now caught in the spaceship. Clones pops the Primal Rage, so is able to take Andy out of the fight. But still, this looks better for Godhands.
Yeah, that was definitely rough there for Andy. Ended up getting stunned, pulse bombed, and the primal was just the extra little bit to send them back to spawn. But nevertheless, Mini got that blade online, and based on the way they've been taking out that back line, it doesn't seem like Gorbachev or Firecarter have much they can do about it.
No, and here comes the blade. It's already found Gorbachev. They're out of the fight. There's no supports left for Celestial Wind, and they are just getting blown over here in Watchpoint Gibraltar.
All right, GDH. I get it. We sandbag a little, make it entertaining for the folks, and then we roll on in when we get heated, and that's exactly what we're seeing. This is the GDH that we know. They have found their rhythm. They have found their purpose in life is to be able to push this cart as quickly as they possibly can. And Celestial Wind, they don't know what to do about it. The wind has been taken out of their sails, and the pulse bomb already starts the fight.
Yeah, and that takes Firecarter out of the fight, and they had the rally too. That was going to be such a crucial piece of this puzzle to get this defense online for Celestial Wind. We see Andy GDH eats a sleep dart and an anti-nade in the back line, not in the good way. And oh my god, the primal is beautiful as it takes Average TV out of the fight. And look at how quickly Godhand has gotten this payload almost to completion. Firecarter, the last person left on point for Celestial. And as we see the members of Celestial crawling their way up, it's not going to be fast enough. 4 minutes and 28 seconds on the clock for Godhand.
God Hand, I'm a little disappointed. It was 8 seconds from nice. It could have been so nice, folks. Oh, could have been so nice, but you know, you just got a little overzealous. I'll give it to you. First match again of the season, so I'll give it to you. You know, next time around, you know, I'll play around a little bit. But nevertheless, wow, completely different God Hand than we saw from the first half. Just absolutely dominant. The speed, the ferocity that they are playing at, the rust has been knocked off. Somebody gave them the fountain of youth. They took a good old dip during halftime, and now they are many Overwatch years younger and ready and willing to fight. Celestial win, though. Oh my goodness, it just feels like they've had the momentum knocked out of them. The absolute aggression over and over again that keeps coming out of God Hand. You know, they're getting ready to prep for the fight. Here comes Orsted. Here comes Mini, just out of nowhere, essentially at their spawn doors, getting the first pick to initiate the fight before it's even close to starting. I don't know what to think anymore, Juggle. I mean, even Andy taking up your namesake there at the end to you know, send a couple of people off the objective just to make a point. I mean, honestly, I have no idea what Celestial has planned to change this up, but you know, maybe switching back to the traditional dive so you have that extra space for that diva to work, you know, and kind of back up your Winston might be the pick here.
Yeah, sure could be. And Aaron already with a pick onto Orsted, hitting that tricky little tracer is no easy feat. So kudos to them. But now we see Clone starting to try and contest this high ground, try and maybe take it away from. Oh, and that is a massive anti-nade. That is huge. That hit 4 people, but it's not quite enough to dislodge the defense that God Hand has up here. Celestial pushing this cart, and at some point, God Hand is going to be forced down off of this high ground. Celestial jumps up here, try and put some pressure onto the supports of God Hand, but they are pushed out of the fight. They jump right back in, though. Orsted finds a pick, but it's not going to be enough as Celestial Wind is able to take the lion's shares of the kills in this fight.
Yeah, they're finally able to create some space, but the cart is in prime position for God Hand. Now that it's on the other side, they don't necessarily need the high ground to their advantage, and that Nano is going to just obliterate the backline.
Yeah, that it will. Both Annas are removed from the fight, but it's God Hand that's coming up bigger this time as the Primal from Andy GDH once again doing tremendous work here and getting rid of the rest of Celestial Wind.
It was just perfect timing. One, you know, and this is the difficult part about dive and double bubble, right? You see the tanks and DPS going in to try to support one another, and the supports themselves are kind of left alone. And if you don't go back for them, if you don't go back to make sure that they stay alive so they can keep you alive, then the enemy team is just going to take advantage of that. That's exactly what Andy did. Beautiful Nano going in to build up that primal rage. And then Andy gets back into the main fight to clean the rest of it up.
That he does, and here comes the aggression now from Celestial. 5-man EMP. Cube, though, is there with the rally to try and keep God Hand up. They're going to be able to do it pretty successfully. Mammoth, though, is demexed, so that's going to be a go button for Celestial Wind. Sleep comes out onto Clones right as they start to push in. Rally committed by Gorbacheese, and this 5-ult bank that Celestial Wind had is slowly trickling down to nothing, as is their life, as the kills are coming in for God Hand instead. What an incredible turnaround here.
Yeah, that was just an unfortunate turn of events from Go. We saw the EMP come in, grabs 5, but there was no target focus. Everybody was going for different heroes, and you can't save everybody all at once. You can't take out everybody all at once on your own unless you're using some kind of ultimate. Even though Mammoth got taken out of mech, the EMP had worn off just enough that they could dedicate bomb and be able to get back into the fight rather quickly. Even though the bomb didn't get value, just their presence was enough value to go ahead and keep things going. And now Pulse Bomb invested by Aaron, not able to find much of anything right there.
Yeah, Nano committed as well from Ice onto Mammoth. They're doing a lot of damage, and honestly, Celestial Wind looking a little bit scattered at the moment. Hack comes in onto Mammoth, but there's not really going to be much of a follow-up for it as they're able to remove themselves from the fight temporarily. Now, Clones try to take out this Tracer, and they're able to do it with the help of Firecarter, but Firecarter taken down as well. Firecarter just can't seem to stay alive right now. Neither can Gorba Cheese. And this is overtime now. Celestial Wind has to do something, or we're going to a map 5.
Oh, we are definitely going to a map 5, Juggle God. I don't think there's anything that Celestial can do, and I'm hoping maybe a little bit of Caster Curse might be able to come in here, but GDH, I mean, they are showing why they are called God Hand right now. There doesn't seem to be anything that Celestial can do. The powers of space and time will not hold God Hand back as overtime ticks away. They take Watchpoint Gibraltar and tie up our series 2-2 to bring us to map 5.
This is fantastic. You gotta love seeing a map 5 come out of the gates first week of Overwatch Tranquility. And you know, this is great because it did look like a stomp at first from Celestial Wind, but now it's like the tables have completely turned at this point. And you know, you mentioned earlier, it's almost like we have a different team. I wonder if God Hand was just playing, you know, maybe everybody was playing with their left hand with their mouse or something. I don't know. You know, because this is just dominant now from God Hand. It's completely reversed.
I mean, I'm going to be completely honest with you, Juggle. That is possible. It is completely possible that, you know, they wanted to make this first match really exciting, so they were like, okay, let's try doing something a little different. But no, I think, you know, GDH, like every other team, you know, you get a little bit of the first game jitters. You know, if you haven't been practicing, you got to shake off the rust, all that jazz. And I think that truly is what we saw in the first 2 maps. God Hand isn't that Mimi, or at least I don't believe that they are.
Yeah.
But nevertheless, they are showing that they have the knowledge to go along with the time that they have been playing together, right? I mean, this team has been together for a very long time, and as soon as the second half ended, or as soon as the second half started, we saw a completely GDH, the traditional GDH that has that momentum, that clarity to be able to just absolutely dominate any space that they work their way into. I mean, we saw there on Numbani, Ice just anti-nade after anti-nade. It wasn't even the team really keeping them at bay. It was those anti-nades constantly being in, forcing Celestial back, so they couldn't even push into the objective.
Yeah.
And then see it now on Watchpoint Gibraltar. We didn't see as much value from there, but a lot of it going on to Andy and Mimi. You know, I always question the Genji going against, you know, Brigitte or Zarya or Winston, but Mimi just obviously showing that they're completely in their element, even with the beautiful Contenders skin on, just able to clean things up over and over again as the chaos is going on.
Yeah, many apparently didn't get the memo that their counters are Brig and Winston, because they clearly don't care. And it's a pleasure to watch, honestly, to see them, you know, popping off so much on this Genji. And you know, it's I keep bringing it up, but I really don't think it actually makes that big of a difference. Genji did get a buff recently. I mean, 1 more damage per shuriken. I don't think that's really making the difference. I think it's Minnie's play that's making the difference.
Yeah, and I mean, it's all about the opportunities that they were taking, right? We always expect that there is a certain amount of what's it called? Transition time between fights, right? We expect that the fight isn't going to start for a good 10-15 seconds as the team that just got eliminated groups up and gets ready to head back in. But GDH was like, you know what? That ain't in the rule book anywhere. We're just gonna dive on in while you're waiting for the rest of us. We know where you're gonna be at, so we're just gonna meet you where you are. And now it looks like Celestial has chosen Helios for our final map, and I gotta be honest with you, Juggle, this is gonna be a rough one. Their other map that they could have chosen this evening would have been Oasis, I think that maybe that would have given maybe a little bit of extra ability, especially on places like University and Gardens where the Pharah could be used, but again, low ceilings, small areas for them to be in. But you got Lighthouse, you got Well, and you've got Widow's Playground on the ruins. Mini is just going to absolutely dominate here unless something changes for Celeste.
Yeah, that is the truth. Although Kame is on the Pharah on the other side, so we do have dueling pharmacies in the sky. Both teams looking very, very similar as well. Just a difference between a Tracer and a Soldier on the field right now. And neither team really committing to point yet, although Celestial Wind starting to cap it. Somebody from Godhand finally touches, and now the fight is breaking off on point. Slam comes in from Clones, but they remove themselves from the fight quickly to get themselves healed up to get a little bit of that damage away from them. Mammoth, though, demeched on point, but not before Clones is taken out of the fight. Or, sorry, Andy, Clones is taken out of the fight, and Andy, GDH, actually rezzed by Cube. So, Godhand looking a little bit better here. This is a long fight for the first cap, but still being contested.
Yeah, I mean, at the end of this, honestly, it's just kind of going back and forth here right now as we see them feed on in. Honestly, I'm not exactly for certain who's going to get it first, but the Nano will go ahead and create some. Well, never mind. Gets slapped out by ice.
Yeah, exactly. No, point does finally tick over to Celestial Wind after a very disorienting fight from both sides, and I imagine disorienting to the players as well. Trades coming in. It's now a 5v5 on both sides, but Cubed is out of the fight, and that might be the difference maker. Not having that support in the lineup really makes a huge difference, and Godhand really just going to kind of play it slow and wait for them to get back to the fight.
Yeah, I think the only unfortunate part right now is that Fire Carter has already unleashed the Valkyrie and didn't really get a whole lot of value from it. Minefield going to be released from Clones to see if they can create some space and keep them from coming in.
Yeah, but the only, they were able to take out Orsted, but the space getting created by Mini, though, is a lot bigger. Rez comes out as well, but Clones is able to remove Cube from the fight. Celestial Wind looks like they're, oh no, they give the point over, but the kills are coming in favor of them. Minefield on point from Andy, though. That's gonna stop Celestial from really moving in, but Clones decides he wants to go for it anyway and nicks a mine. Here comes the Diva Bomb from Mammoth. Recall in place from that Tracer to dodge it momentarily. And Cube. Oh, look at this barrage coming in now from Gorbacheese, though. Finds Mammoth, but they are removed from the fight. Mini GDH still doing a tremendous job, but Celestial recaps the point.
Mini, can I just say that was nasty, all right? Barraging a Pharah Mercy on the enemy team while in the air, that's not nice, all right? That's not nice at all. But it does show a little bit of dominance despite what the percentage is showing right now. Gorbachev getting ready to come up on that beat. That's going to be a huge save against Ice, who's looking to invest that Nano and probably onto Mini to get that barrage.
Yeah, that's a very good point. Clones almost has these minefields as well, but it's Mini GDH winning out the Pharah battle, and Nano committed as well from Iced, and now most of the members of Celestial Wind are gone, and now this is Godhand's point to take.
Yeah, there wasn't anything they could do once Mini got that Nano. The first pick that they ended up getting was onto Gorbachev. Is taking that Lucio out of the fight, gonna take down a lot of the healing that you have on the ground. And then it was just pick after that. So now that they have control of the objective, though, they are kind of in final fight range. It's going to be up to Celestial to create the space that they need, but with Kame already out of the fight, that's going to be a hard one to beat.
Yeah, the res does come in, though, so they are back to 6. They're going to be able to continue this push. And Orsted getting forced out now. They have to use the recall, but they recall straight into Arin, who's able to take them out of the fight. Mines committed now from Clones on point. They want to retake this point as fast as they can. Pulse Bomb there as well onto Mammoth. Takes them out of the mech. Rez does come in, though, onto Ice. So now, Godhand back to their full support line. But Celestial primed to take this point. They are just a inch away from it. Here comes the barrage. It takes out Gorbachev, but Average TV, they're able to equalize it and to get the self-destruct kill onto Andy GDH, and now Kame comes in with a barrage instead, and with 99%, can anybody even touch? No, they can't. And Celestial Wind looks like they're coming back into this, and now Godhand with their backs against the wall once again. It is do or die here.
Yeah, and just the absolute chaos that was going on the objective is really kind of what turned things around. The initial picks that we saw onto Orsted and Ice, not having that main support in the fight, and that Tracer that's doling out a lot of damage on the ground, removing those two key components of this dive composition that we're seeing is making it really difficult for Godhand to stay in the fight, despite the fact that Mini is, got the pocket and whatnot. Now we are seeing Cubed opting for the Lucio this time around, but Orsted is opting for, no, they're going to come out on that Mercy, change things up a little bit, but Orsted opting for the Sombra this time around might change the way this works, but RN's on that Widow. We're on Widow's playground after all. Let's see if they can have some fun.
Yeah, and Clones is gonna try to ruin that playground day for Aaron on that Wrecking Ball. We already see them sneaking into the backline, trying to find them. But meanwhile, the point is being contested now that it has unlocked. Godhand starting out with the early capture percentage. Clone comes in with a slam to really start things off for Celestial Wind. Hack onto Firecarder, though, gonna remove them from the sky. Clipping Pharmacy's wings there a little bit. Clones goes down very low. They are removed from the fight by Andy GDH, and now Godhand able to come up with the first capture here, especially after a pick onto Gorbacheese as well.
Yeah, Orsted opting for the Sombra battle, trying to avoid Aaron instead of battling them on that Tracer v Tracer, even though they didn't end up coming out on the Tracer anyway. Is providing a lot of value. Orsted able to clip the wings of Fire Carter, keep them at very least unable to move with Kame throughout the fight. But nevertheless, these ultimates are coming online. Aaron now swapping over to that Tracer to create some space.
Yeah, I think that was probably a good move there. Average TV also demeched as well, so this is going to be hard for Celestial Wind to try and push into. They may just take this slow to try and get that mech back. Clones gets hacked and removed from the fight, though, instantly by 3 members of Godhand. Valkyrie committed from Cubed. That's going to allow them, Godhand, to push much more aggressively forward. And right now, Godhand in tremendously strong control of Ruins here.
That is true. Godhand Ori up to 60%, and it doesn't seem like they're stopping anytime soon as Gorbacheese immediately gets taken out. They step out of spawn, they're like, hey, what's going on out here? And just like rocket to space immediately. Just nothing they seem to do is sticking right now as the ultimates continue to build up.
Yeah, for both sides as well. There's going to be 5 online shortly for each team. 6 for Celestial Wind. Here comes the first of them. Minefield committed. EMP as well. And through the chaos of it all, Celestial looking a little bit better. That is until a pick comes out onto Gorbacheese. They were able to get the nano boost off, but there's 93% on the board right now. Celestial Wind has to make a move for this point right now, or they're just not going to get it. Mammoth demeched now. But the mines on point are causing some problems for Celestial, but they are going to be able to catch it eventually.
Yeah, that was just the chaos that both of these teams are just investing in right now is blowing my absolute mind. Because we essentially saw 2 fights going on at the same time. We saw Andy and Mammoth fighting on the objective, and we saw Mini, Cubed, and Orsted fighting off of it. And holy crap!
Yeah, Aaron comes in with a huge pulse bomb, removes Pharmacy from the sky completely, and Godhand just gonna have to try again.
Yeah, we call that one a good old signed, sealed, and delivered right there. Yep. taking out the Pharmacy in the sky, or at least when they touch the ground for just a second. Very good timing there from Aaron. That's gonna keep Godhand at bay for just a little bit. And that stagger onto Ice can help them out, get past that 50%.
Yeah, that is true. Celestial Wind has this point under their control, and they do not want to give it up. They also take out Orsted from the fight as well, and that's crucial because Orsted has this EMP. If Celestial Wind wants to make this a Celestial win, they need to really neutralize that Sombra play.
And I think that's exactly what Arn is doing right now. They're trying to zone out Orsted every which way from Sunday, but with the initial pick onto clones, that's going to create the space they need. Combo!
Oh, here we go. It catches the self-destruct, catches Farah. Kame is out of the fight, as is Fire Carter. Now the point back under the control of Godhand, and there's just barely a touch from Celestial. There comes the EMP to just kind of seal the deal. A barrage comes in at the last moment from Kame, but is anybody even going to be able to touch? Oh my gosh, Fire Carter there at the last moment. The clones trying to get back on this wrecking ball, but they're cut short, and that's going to do it. We're going the distance in this game.
That ending was very interesting. I'm not for certain what Kame was trying to do with the barrage there. Might have been a misclick as they were trying to hurry back to the objective. Yeah. I mean, it's unfortunate because we ain't in April Fool's Day patch, folks. You can't move as far during the barrage. So thankfully another member was able to touch the objective, but in the end it was all for naught. But yeah, Juggle, we're going the distance. 2-2 in maps right now. 1-1 here on Helios as we head into my favorite, the death zone, if you will. Let's see how many bodies we can pile up in that well.
And we've got the boops to do it. We've got Diva, Wrecking Ball, and Lucio on the side of Celestial. Almost the exact same thing, just trading out that boop from Lucio for a boop from Afara on the side of God Hands. And both teams now just kind of posturing, waiting to find the right moment to move in. We see Mini GDH on that Farah slowly moving their way to the back line and doing tremendous work. They're able to take out both Fire Carter and Kame from the fight. Clones is removed as well. Godhand coming back with a vengeance. They don't want to let this go. They want to continue their reign of domination in Overwatch Tranquility.
Yeah, and I mean, it's all about timing right there. You just saw Mini kind of biding their time as they were waiting for Andy and Mammoth to get in position to really zone out Kame. And first initial pick, Kame. Second pick, Fire Carter. You got that power boost and you've got that hit scan out of the fight. You're able to just completely keep on dominating. Already a quarter of the way to finishing out this map. Let's see if 3 more fights will lock it in for Godhand.
Yeah, that we will. We see Clones rolling through the back line of Godhand, and Pack Visor now pops from Kame. They're able to get a pick right after a pick with some Helix Rockets as well. Mammoth going down very, very low on this Diva. They're almost removed from the fight. The Nano committed onto Andy, but it's not going to be enough. And Orin comes up again with the Pulse Bomb. Excellent heroics from that Tracer.
It's always perfect timing from Aaron. You just see, I almost imagine Aaron kind of in the Symmetra sit pose, just kind of sitting, having some good old tea and crumpets, and just like, oh, you need a pulse bomb here? All right, there you go. And then just goes back to chill, maxing and relaxing,
Yeah.
Nevertheless, percentage climbing right now as the investment comes in.
Yeah, but it is traded out. It is still a 5v5 on point, but Fire Carter's in with the res. EMP comes in to try and stop it, but the beat is there from Gorbachev as well. Mammoth able to take out Clones, but Iced is out of the fight for Godhand, and that might be the difference maker, because without those heals, it's going to make things hard. Cube comes in for the res, is able to get it, but pays for their life, so they're still just at 1 healer. And the DPS of Celestial Wind not letting Godhand catch their breath.
Yeah, at this point, Godhand really needs to pull back because all they're doing is giving Celestial time and percentage on this objective. When you realize that healers are going down and you're not able to keep the fight going, you really got to choose, especially on control, when to pull back and regroup, because you don't get many times to do it, and that clock is ticking down.
Yes, it is. We are getting close to final fight territory. We are not quite there yet, but depending on how long this fight lasts, we could be there very, very soon. It's all coming down to this. Godhand trying to position now, trying to wait for the opportune moment to strike. Clones forced out just a little bit. Kame has this tack visor too, and they've got the high ground as well. So this is looking very, very good for Celestial. 90% on the clock now as well. Godhand has to make a move, but Mini is out of the fight. They commit the Nano once again to Mammoth, which has worked so well for them in the past. The hack and the death comes in onto clones though, so no main tank for Celestial Wind. Can Celestial Wind hold on? Can they seal this deal? Andy is able to get a pick though onto average, so it looks like Celestial gonna at least give up the point for the time being, even though they might not be out of the fight just yet, as the picks do start to come in for Celestial Wind. This could be the moment. Diva Bomb comes in. Is it gonna find anybody? Mammoth unable to. The beat once again committed from Gorbacheese as well. Clones has these mines online. They drop them at the choke. That's gonna make it hard for anybody from GDH to push in. Mammoth is demeched as well and out of the fight. And now Andy comes in with the mines. The EMP is well though from Orsted, but they're removed as well. Gorbacheese gets another pick. Can Celestial finish this off? They are so close, and with nobody left for GDH, this looks like it might be it. There's an Anna who might be able to touch at the last second, but she's getting blindy blocked, and that's gonna do it. Celestial Wind comes up with the win, coming in with the upset against the former champions Godhand. What a match!
Yeah, but you know, it wasn't without difficulty though, Juggle.
No,
it was
it
a
wasn't.
close match to the bitter end. And by bitter end, I mean it was essentially almost 99 to 99, and it was only a matter of centimeters there at the end that I, just hoping that, Grandma getting a little power boost jump, maybe get a little bit of Mario in there, jump right on over the team to be able to touch. But unfortunately, all those little meters, all those little seconds and percentages, they all count in the end. So Celestial Wind going to be taking away their first match of the season for now. But GDH, you played your hearts out. I wouldn't be worried in the least. Obviously, you got a little bit of polishing up to do. It seems that Control and Assault not looking like the best maps that you practiced on. So, cleaning that up a little bit might be able to help you out moving into the next round of Stage 1.
Yeah, and you know what? It is that time now, Captain Jack, the time to name a player of the match. And I know I've got somebody on the tip of my tongue, but I'm excited to hear who you want to hand it to. So, who are you thinking? Who's caught your eye this match?
Man, it is... I feel love all over a Celestial Wind right now.
Yeah.
I love the tank play as a tank player myself. I love what I saw Clones and Average TV doing. But I think tonight I gotta give the DPS love to Aaron. I think that ground battle, even though it wasn't as flashy, there were a couple of good pulse bombs that really kind of caught our attention. But the Tracer is kind of like that silent assassin, going into the back line, doing a lot of damage with those machine pistols, and allowing the team to be able to clean up on those is really what makes the difference between a good Tracer and a great Tracer. And if you saw the Tracer battles that were continuing to go on between them and Orsted and them and Mini, it didn't matter which one on Godhand was playing the Tracer. It just seemed that Aaron every single time just had a little bit of an edge over them. So Aaron, you're walking away with my player of the match.
All right, well, you know what? I'm gonna not do exactly what you did, but I'm gonna go close. I'm gonna give my player of the match to Kame, the other DPS, because I feel like Kame carried Celestial Wind in those first two maps tonight. It was Kame coming in big again and again. A lot of times with this tack visor as well. Their soldier was excellent tonight. And I think that having them there again at the end on Ilios really helped them seal the deal, to be able to get that dub in the books for Celestial Wind. Their first match here in Overwatch Tranquility. So kudos, I think, to the DPS line. Congratulations, both of you, getting player of the match tonight from us here in the casting booth.
Yeah, and needless to say, despite the technical difficulties and all of that, thank you so much for sticking with us, folks. I mean, we say it all the time. It wouldn't be Overwatch Tranquility if there wasn't a little NA prod going on. So we greatly appreciate you being here. And we want to remind you, hit that exclamation donate in the chat, folks. We are still raising money for Rain, an amazing organization in our way to support the Activision Blizzard employees going through all the turmoil that they're going through right now with their jobs and rights and whatnot. So please do your part. We're already over halfway there. Last I checked, we're sitting at $550.20. We're trying to get to that $1,000 goal because if you're a frequent member of the Tranquility community, you know anytime Mr. Yeti has to eat something spicy, it's always a very entertaining show. So let's go ahead, let's get on up there. I know that we typically do stuff like this during event week, but this is for a really amazing cause. Let's do everything we can to help them out.
Yeah, thank you so much for that plug right there. And thank you to the community for continuing to donate and to show up and support Overwatch Tranquility as well. Before we close things out, wanted to give a couple of quick thanks. Thank you to Cavalier. Not only do you run this entire thing, but you came in and you produced tonight. So thank you so much for coming in to do that. Really, really appreciate it. Hardest working man, I think, probably here. Although there are a lot of hardworking people in Overwatch Tranquility. I don't want to cut anybody short. There's a lot of people who do a lot of work here. So thank you to you all. Thank you to the rest of the staff here at Overwatch Tranquility. Thank you to all of you viewers out there for showing up. And thank you to you, Captain Jack, for being my co-caster tonight. It's a rare occurrence, I think, that we'll ever get to do this. We're two play-by-play by trade. So this was just a treat.
That's absolutely true. It was a pleasure. The pleasure is all mine, Juggle, as I've been, testing out this new setup. All of us are kind of growing and learning here at Tranquility. So, we're always trying to improve upon and make those great strides. We do want to let you know that there is one more match this week and some additional content for you if you all are interested. Tomorrow night in the Discord tier, 8:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, we'll be seeing the Quokka Queens, formerly known as the redacted team that took a Season 6 by storm in the Discord tier from the Marsupial org. We don't know who they were, but I heard they got slept on a lot. But Quokka Queens will be facing off against the Inferno Foxes tomorrow night. And if you're not tired of seeing me yet this week, don't worry, because I'm going to be back tomorrow night, hopefully not casting, but bringing you the new and improved beat drop tomorrow night after the Discord tier matchup. We're going to be talking about some of the favorite plays that we saw from the preseason as well as week one. We're going to be showing you clips of that, things that we enjoyed, and then we're going to be interviewing some of the players. So if you haven't already, be sure to reach out to me. We've got a sign up list that you can get on. You just fill it out. It takes about 5 minutes to do, and then we're going to be able to schedule you out. I'm really excited about this new format of the beat drop. We're going to be able to give you that interview, that kind of look into the team that you always love with a little bit more flair, a little bit more spice, and definitely a lot of live that we're going to be, maybe asking some questions for you for some of these players. So, Joe, that's all I got. Go ahead, take us on home.
All right, well, thank you all once again for tuning in. It has been a pleasure, as always. GG's, and see you next time.
you.